Gina. Today I'm going to show you how to make this little bracelet. We're going to be using wired looped components, and we're going to put together this portion that we have our wired looped components suspended between two chains, and then we're going to make a very dangly full portion on this side. So it turns out really cute. This is with the Golden Harvest treasure bag. You can use any beads that you have in your stash to do this with, as long as you have a 5 to 6 millimeter cube. You may even be able to just do this with a round or any other type of bead. You just have to modify it and make the beads a little bit further apart or whatever so they lie next to each other well. But what I'm trying to say is these are very common techniques, and it's very common beads that are used with it. So if you can't find them in your stash, you can find them very easily anywhere you're looking. You can use any charm you want, no charm at all if you would like. This would look really pretty without any charms also. So do not feel left out. This is a technique. You can accomplish this with almost any type of bead you want to use. So that being said, let me pick this up and put it on my wrist and see how coordinated I am to do this quickly and get it in the camera here for you to see it. Okay, there we go. So let me back off a little bit here, and this is what it looks like. So you have your cubes on this side and all your dangles on this side. Now I was going to make this a little bit more minimal, this portion with all the dangles, but then I started and I just decided to put a bead on either side of every single link, and I made a lot more components and I put a lot more charms on, and I just made it really full. And I think that really, it looks nice. But again, you can make it as minimal or as full as you would like. That's what that looks like. This is what the clasping looks like, and I put a little dangle over here on the side with the cubes, and I think it turned out just adorable. So if you like this, stay tuned and I'll show you how to make it. Let's get started. Okay, for this particular project today, we're going to be using some of the things found in the Golden Harvest treasure bag, but these are very common size beads, so you can do this with things that you have in your stash or can easily get a hold of. So what we're going to be using is, I made a necklace previously and I wanted to kind of make a matching bracelet. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use these really bright orange beads, which has been a challenge, but I've been able to use them. They are very pretty bright orange beads. We're going to use those. These are 6 millimeter round crystal, and then we're going to use some of the 5x5, or you can use a 6 millimeter crystal cube, and this is golden color. And then from the treasure bag, I'm going to use a few of these little leaf charms. I'm not sure how many I'll use yet. I'm just going to design this as I do this. So you want to have some of those out. You have 20 of them, so you have plenty. And then, or you can use any charm you want, or you don't have to use a charm at all. You can just use your beads. We're then going to use the toggle clasp that came in the bag, or you can use any toggle you would like. Then we're going to add to the bag, we're going to need some eye pins. I'm using these short eye pins. You can use longer ones if you'd like. You just need enough to slide your bead on, so I'm just going to use these little short ones. We're just going to put a single bead on each one. You can cut down your long ones and use them if you would like. So you're going to need several of those, and then I'm going to be using some, and these are eye pins. I'm going to be using some ball head pins, and you can use any head pin you'd like. Again, these are shorter, and you can cut down long ones if you'd like, or you can buy them short also. So I'm going to use the head pins, eye pins, and then I'm going to add some jump rings. I have some 4mm jump rings and I have one 6mm jump ring. I may do a little focal in the middle. I may use this, I may not. We're going to see as I design this what happens here. Then I'm going to use some of the chain that was in the bag. You can use any chain you would like. You don't want it to be huge links and you don't want it to be very small, because we are going to be connecting units to this chain, so it needs to have a big enough hole so that you can do that. I believe these are like 3mm wide and 5mm long, the links are, so that gives you an idea. But what you're going to do is you're going to cut 2 pieces of your chain. And I have cut one about 6 inches long, and then I've cut another about 3.5 inches long. Now, our clasping will add about 1 inch to it. So I'm hoping to end up with about a 7-inch bracelet. The nice thing about chain is if you discover that that's not big enough or that's too big, you can always take off a couple links at the end or add a couple of links to achieve your length. So these are the lengths I'm starting with. And then we'll just connect it all together, and we'll make a whole bunch of little dangles and things. So let's go ahead and get started with this project. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is make some little components, and then we're going to put them between the chain, and we will get our chain ready for the body of the bracelet. So I have a little eye pin and I have one of my cubes. We're going to make 10 of these components. I'm going to make a few and then show you how to put it together, and then I'll go to length and come back and show you what I have. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your eye pin, drop your cube on it. Let me get just a tad bit closer here, and then I'm going to take a pair of flat nose pliers, and I'm just going to bend this eye pin over the cube, just slightly above the cube, just enough room for my flat nose plier. I'm going to try to bend it the same way that the other side is situated. So I'm going to try to bend it over so that my loop will be the same way. It's not terribly necessary. Mine tends to turn and I have to straighten it out at the end anyway, and I'll show you how to do that. Now I want to make another eye on this side, but I want to make it basically the same size as the eye on the other side. So even though I have a short head or eye pin, I need to cut this down just a little bit. I want about 1/4 inch here. And then I am going to place my plier towards the tip here, a little more towards the tip than the back part. I want it to be a fairly small loop. So I'm going to place it, have it flush towards the back of my plier, and then I'm going to turn it as far as I can. Then I'm going to take my plier out, turn my plier over, put it back in, situate it in the same spot close to the end of the wire, and turn the rest of the way. And now I have a little loop on both sides of my component here. Now I was pretty successful in keeping them the same direction, but if you are not, then you can take a pair of flat nose pliers and a pair of chain nose pliers, or 2 flat nose, whatever, 2 chain nose, and just straighten them out so you can turn them so that they're both basically the same direction. And then you can make 10 more of those. So let's go ahead and make a few of those and we'll be back. Okay, so now I have made a few components to start this project with. You will need 10 in total. Now, I have laid out both lengths of my chain right next to each other and straightened them out the best that I could so that I can see the links and which side is up and down on the links themselves. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to grab one of our components, and we're just going to open one side of the component. So I have, let me back off just a little, it's a little blurry. I'm going to just grab the end that is open and just crank it up like this. Crank it up pretty good so that it's easy to put it on your chain. Then you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 links. Now you want to attach to the bottom of the link on the top chain and the top of the link on the bottom chain. So I'm going to grab my 4th link, 1, 2, 3, 4, from the top of the link here. And then I'm just going to put it on my component. And then I'm going to close my component, just like this. Then I'm going to lay this back out. It'll get all twisted and weird, so it takes a second. Just lay this out to where your 3 links before where your component is attached are laying out nice and neat, and you can see them nicely, like so. And then lay out your bottom one again. We're going to grab this component and open the bottom of the link. So laying it out like that is just going to get messed up again. So we'll do that again in a second. So now I'm going to find on the bottom half of this cube, I'm going to find the open part of my eye pin. And I'm just going to crank it open, just like this. Then I am going to straighten out my bottom chain and count over 4 links. And this time I'm going to grab the link from the bottom half of it, so the part closest to me. And I am just going to put it on that 4th link, just like this, and close it. And now you want to lay your chain out nice and neat. Make sure that nothing's twisted, because it's going to be all twisted and weird and all that from just handling it. And just bring it nice and neat. And it takes a minute. You have to have patience to do this particular project, so just take a minute, straighten it out, and you will get it. As long as you put it on the proper sides of the chain, you will get it. So that's close enough. Just like that, I have it to where nothing is twisted and everything is laid out so I can see my links pretty well. Now, these 2 bottom links we're going to connect together with a jump ring. So you want a 4mm jump ring. A heavier jump ring would be best. Mine aren't terribly heavy, but they're not really light either. So I'm going to just find the opening of my jump ring, place a plier on one side, and then place a plier on the other side and open it like this. Then I am going to connect both of these links into this jump ring. So I'm just going to put this link on, see if I can scoop him up. And then I'm going to scoop up the other link, and then I'm going to pick up my jump ring and I'm going to close it. So I'm just going to put my plier on the other side and close this jump ring. Now I have a little triangle shape here like this. That will be the end portion of my bracelet where we're going to put our clasping on. And just to keep things organized and straight as we do this, we're going to go ahead and put that part on now so that it keeps things, gives us some reference to work with. So we're going to grab another one of our jump rings and open it same way we did the last one. Scoop up this jump ring you just connected onto your chain. And then grab the toggle and put that jump ring through the loop of the toggle and then close the jump ring like that. Now I can lay it out and get my chain to stop being all weird. And it's going to be kind of weird. I mean, it just is. You just have to work with it until you can get it laid out pretty nicely like that. So let me show you. That's what that should look like so far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect 10 beads the same way we connected this one. Now that we have it laid out, we can see our links, and we can grab, of course, from the top of this one and from the bottom of this one, and we're just going to skip a link. So this one is attached here. We're going to skip that link and Okay, let me get it so where I can see it. So this one is attached to this link. I'm going to skip this link and put it on the next link. So you're going to go 2 links over from where you are already attached. So you want to grab one of your beads. Now the easiest way to do this is just to do one end first. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to have my long chain on top and my short chain on bottom, and make sure that they're not twisted inside there. And then I am going to pick up one of my components and I am going to open one side of it. I'm going to find the link that this one's on, and it looks kind of strange because your head pin kind of blends in with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is the one it's connected to. You can see that right there. Let me get you really close. It's connected here. I am going to skip this one next to it and then grab the next one from the top of the link. And then I'm just going to put my component on it like this, and I'm going to close it. Now doing a couple at a time is the easiest way. So I'm just going to grab another one, open it, lay this back out. My component is on this link here. I'm going to skip one, grab the next one from the top of the link so that I'm attaching to the bottom of the link, and I'm just going to put my component on it and close it. Now I have a couple on here. You can go ahead and put all 10 of them on if you'd like, but I just do a couple at a time. Now I can lay this out, and this particular one wants to keep there. Now if I get really close, you can see I have my links open and nice on this side. I don't have to worry about that side so much. As long as it's not twisted over, it should be fine. So I can see that my component, my first component, is on this link, and I'm going to skip a link and I'm going to use this link here. So while these are down here, I'm going to open the component. And then I'm going to straighten this back out, find the link I want, grab it from the bottom of that link, and then I'm going to put my component on it. Let me do that again. I'm sorry, guys. It takes a second. It's fidgety, but usually it's not quite that fidgety. So let me fix this and do this again. I'm going to grab this component, find the link that I want to put it on. So I want to put it on 1, 2, 3. I'm going to grab another pair. So I'm here, skip that one, grab this one, and I'm just going to direct this link into there, just like that. And then I can hold on to it and close it like this. It's really not that hard. It's just fidgety. You just have to get yourself a routine on how it works for you, and then you can attach them pretty easily. So now I have 2 on here. I'm going to make sure that my components are laying correctly here. I'm going to open this component before I get all situated, because I'll just mess up my situation. I'm going to open this component, and then I'm going to find my link. So here's the one I'm attached to. I'm going to skip one. I'm going to go to this one, grab a hold of it from the top here, and then I can just scoop this one on. Just like that. Well, almost just like that. So I'm not going to pretend like this isn't a pain. It is a pain, but the end result is worth it. So just straighten it back out and pick up your component, and then grab the link and put your component on it. Might take a try or two, but it's really not that bad. Just be patient. And that's what that looks like. Now, you're going to go ahead and connect all 10. Now, if you are making a longer bracelet than I am, I'm going to end up with about a 7-inch bracelet. You may want to do a little bit longer chain and maybe another unit or two of your cube components like this. So you'll kind of have to judge that as you make it, and as you see me make it, you can see how it ends up, and then you can make your plan from there. So we're just going to continue putting these on until we have 10 of them, and then we'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, I have finished putting my 10 cubes in. Like I said, if you want to make a little longer bracelet, you'd have a little bit longer chain on each side, and you could go ahead and put a few more on. Now, we've cut enough to retain enough so that we can mess with the middle here. So what we're going to do is we are going to find the link that our last component is attached to, and then we're going to count 2 out. And then on the third one, we are going to hold on to that one and cut the one after it. The links is what I'm speaking of. So I'm just going to cut that off. And so now I have 2 links. So this one's attached, and then I have 2 more links. So 2 links past the one that your last component is attached to. Retain the long length of chain, because that's what we measured for our end result. And then we're going to do the same on this side. That's the one I'm attached to. So I am going to cut the one after, so I'm going to cut the 3rd link after that link that the component is attached to. I'm trying to hold on to him, and I'm just going to cut him. Come on. And then you can just discard that last little piece or keep it in case you need a little length on the end. And now I'm going to try to lay this all back out nice and neat. And I'm going to grab my 6mm jump ring, and I'm going to open it. So you have one 6mm jump ring. You can do this with a 2mm too, or I'm sorry, a 4mm also if you would like, simply because of the fact that this is going to add a tiny bit of length, and I'm going to make it so I can put some charms in the middle, perhaps, see what it looks like. If you don't want to do charms in the middle, you can put a 4mm jump ring here. But I'm just going to open this jump ring and find my last 2 links and scoop them up on this jump ring. Come on, you. I'll scoop this one up. Come on. Okay, so I've got them both on here, as you can see, and now I am just going to close this jump ring nice and tight. And actually, let's go ahead and open that again. Take your long piece of chain and put it on too. So you've got your 2 bottom pieces here nice and neat next to each other, and then put your long piece of chain back onto the bracelet on the jump ring, just like this. And then close the jump ring. And you should have something that looks like this. At this point, you can measure your length, or you can just wait till the end, because you are going to get some bulk to this, and that's also going to affect the length of the bracelet as it wears on your wrist. It'll take up a little bit of room on your wrist. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some of our charms, and I am going to do like 9 charms, something like that. And I will tell you at the end exactly what I'm going to use. But you're just going to grab some of your 4mm jump rings, and again, find the opening, place pliers on either side, crank them open, and prepare your charms with jump rings. And then once you have made several of them, like I said, I will make like 9. We'll set those aside. And then we are going to make some little components with our head pins. So we're going to make one-ended loop components. And we're going to make several of those, and I will tell you how many I make when I come back and show you what I've made. So let's make one first. So I have this ball head pin. I'm just going to slide my cube on it, and I'm going to also make a bunch of little round ones in the orange color exactly the same way. So I'm going to show you with a cube, however, you're going to do all the components exactly the same way, regardless if you use a round or you use a cube. Then we are going to grab, once you've put it on there, make sure it's all the way to the end, the cube isn't floating up, and then right above that cube, we're going to bend this over. And we're just going to do the same thing we did before, except for this time last time we only had to do it on one end too because we're using a head pin. So we're doing exactly the same thing, or an eye pin. We're just using a head pin this time. Now again, I'm going to cut this down to about 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to grab my round nose pliers towards the front of my plier, situate the wire flush with the end of the pliers, and then turn as far as I can. Then I'm going to take my hand out, turn my plier over, put my plier back in the same position and towards the end of the wire, and continue to turn. You can take it out and close it all the way. And you'll have a little loop like this. Now my loop's a little weird, so I can go on this side with my plier, bring it over a little, and then close my loop again. I cut my wire just a little short, so that's why I was having a few issues with it. But basically you're going to turn it just like we did in the previous components that we attached. And you're going to do that with several of your orange beads, so you'll have components that look like this and components that look like this. I'm going to make a few, and I'm going to make some charms with jump rings, and I'll be back and show you how many I've made. I may modify and put more or maybe less, but I'm just going to make a pile to work with, and I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I have made some of my components. Here's my orange ones, there's my gold ones, and what I've done is I've made about 14 excuse me, of the orange rounds, and I've made about 8 of the cubes. Now I may need more, I may want less. I've also put 9 charms together, so I put the little jump rings on 9 of them. I don't really know how this is going to look on this bracelet yet, so I may decide I don't even want to use them. Or you could use a smaller charm or whatever you would like. You can use all kinds of different colors. You can do whatever you'd like with this portion. We're going to put a bunch of little dangles on here. I first want to put one of my charms here on this clasping because I think that will be cute. So I am going to grab one of my charms that I have prepared with a jump ring, and I'm placing my plier on one side and placing the other plier on the other side, and I'm going to attach it to the jump ring that is underneath the jump ring that's holding the clasp. So let me show you. So the jump ring that we initially put on that holds the 2 pieces of chain together, I am going to put this jump ring on that one. Try not to get your chain in there because then it will make your bracelet lay funny. So just grab that loop. You know, I can do this just great when I'm not on camera. That's just crazy. Okay, so I'm going to pick it up and I am going to grab that jump ring and put this one on it. Come on, you. Alrighty. I'm going to open this jump ring a little bit more. And we're going to do this again. Oh, I love it. Okay, now I've got it. And I am going to close this jump ring. And we see how that dangles. I may have to move it somewhere else. No, actually, that's fine. That works really well on that loop. I hope I was in camera. I'm way too close. There we go. So I've got my little charm right there, and my plan is to put a couple more here, but I want to work on my chain before I do that so I don't have them dangling in my way. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my chain back out, my long length here, and I'm going to start working, putting our dangles on either side. Now, if you would like, you can attach them with a jump ring. You can put a jump ring on the loop you made, or you can use the loop you made and just attach it directly to the bracelet, which is what I'm going to do. It's a little easier if you do a jump ring, so you could get a very small jump ring and do that if you would like. It gives it a little bit more length too. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to put them on, I'll put one on one side of the chain, and then I will lay my chain back out and I'll put one on the other side of the chain on the next link. So I'll work on either half of the chain, moving in and out, up and down, all the way along the length of the bracelet, so that when I wear this, I will have my dangles on both sides and not just one. So I'm going to open one of my components here, and I'm going to find the link that I want to put it on, and I'm going to start with the other half of the link, so the half that's away from me. I'm going to pick up the half that's towards me. I'm going to slide this on here, and then I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to lay it back out, and I'm going to grab another one. And I think I'm going to do a couple oranges, and I'm just going to kind of put the cubes interspersed here and there. So I'm going to do some, maybe 2 oranges and then a cube, and then maybe 3 oranges and a cube, something like that. So the gold is spread through, but it's mostly orange. And then I'm going to grab another one of my components. I'm going to open it. And now I have one on this link. I'm going to go over to this one, so I'm going to skip a link, and I'm going to, since I have that one on that half, I'm going to grab this half, put it on the other side of the link than I did the last one, and close it. So now you can see, as I put them on, one will be on one side and one will be on the other side of the links. You just have to spread your chain back out so you can see what you're doing. Now, I may decide that that's too far apart and decide to put another one on this side of the link. So what I'm going to do, I think I'll go ahead and put a cube on this side of the link, and then I'll just work through and put them on and see how full I want it. If I need to make more, I'll make more. If I don't use as many, I'll do less. I want to make this fairly full. So I'm going to add one more here, and then we'll go off camera and just start putting our links, and we also can put some of our charms on. So as we go through, we can put some of these little charms on the chain too. And if you don't like it, take them off. If you do like them, leave them on. It's just up to your own taste how you want to do that. Let's see if I can open this a little bit bigger. And I think I'm going to put it right on the other side. No, I'm going to put it on the link in between these two on this side. I'm going to put it on the one that the orange one is on. Maybe. Okay, I can just pick him up and close him. And it doesn't really matter how you put them on. Just put them on to where they look good to you. You can make it as full or minimal as you would like. So continue putting them on. When you put on your charms, all you have to do is open the jump ring and slide it on. And then we can put a couple in the middle here too. So let's go ahead and start building this side of the bracelet. I'll come back and show you what I have when I've finished mine. Okay, so as you can see, I got a little carried away. So I made a whole bunch more of the beaded components, and because you have such long strands of these 2 beads in this bag, you can do that. I made a previous project with them, and I still had enough to make a whole bunch of dangles to make this a very full bracelet. I also ended up using 13 of my leaf charms. I put one on either side of the 6mm jump ring in the center here, and then I just dispersed them through. And I ended up liking the way they look. And when I pick this up, it dangles really pretty. So what I have done is I have gone all the way to the end and left 3 links plain, so empty, so that I can attach my clasping on the end, and it'll be narrow enough to slide through the round part of the toggle. Because when you have something this full, it can be difficult to slide this portion through the round portion of your toggle because of the wideness. So you have to narrow it down. So I've left a few empty links here. And now I'm just going to open a jump ring, and let me get another jump ring. That one flew away. And I'm going to open this little jump ring. And then I'm just going to scoop up this last link with my jump ring. And then I'm going to put on my clasping. And close the jump ring. Okay, so now I will put this on, and we will see what it looks like, how it actually looks on the wrist. Whoa, come here. I'm just going to be clumsy all night tonight. I guess that's just the way it's going to be, because I can't seem to do anything without dropping it. So here it is. Now I can take a couple of these links off and take a couple components and make it a little shorter if I want, or I could add a few more links to the last few to make sure that I have enough room, or I could even put another little leaf charm or another little component right here, because it is a little bit bare there, but you can adjust that really easily. And you can see the 2 little dangles there. I think I might shorten this a little. It's a little bit too big for me. So I am probably going to go ahead and take a couple links off, a couple components off, make this a little shorter. But let me back off so you can see what it looks like. Get all this stuff out of the way. And I'm just going to show you. I think it's really cute. And we have this half here. Turned out really pretty, and I think that's just really pretty. Here's my clasping, and like I said, I think I'm going to adjust it. I'll take a couple of these links off here and still leave myself at least 2 to 3 empty links so that I can attach this. And with the jump ring, that's going to give it another one. So I think I'm going to leave myself 2 empty links, take a couple components off, and take just a little bit of length off of this so that it fits my wrist just a little bit better. It fits fine, but it falls into my palm a little bit more than I want it to. So that's what I'm going to do to adjust it for me, and that's what you can do to adjust the length for you too. You can also add a couple links if you need to, and then you could also add a few more components if you need to do that too. So as long as you have this portion done, this portion is very much adjustable. I think this turned out really cute. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.